skull of the great heretic!
My bad. Finger slipped.
Hi, my name is Alex and I welcome you to today's video. Currently, there are still some third-party games coming to the Switch that are considered impossible to port. One of these games is Borderlands 3, the latest installment of the looter-shooter series. Whether the port of the game is well done and what we think of it in general can be seen in the video. Those who have played the predecessors know that the popular villain, Handsome Jack, can no longer take the role of antagonist. But that's in the past. A fresh pair of crooks in the form of the Calypso twins are up to their mischief this year. They want to gain the power of various chambers for themselves and have raised a kind of army for this purpose. As if Pandora and the other planets, which are visited for the first time in Borderlands 3, were not already teeming with vermin. Many familiar characters and a few new ones run into you there and elsewhere, doing and talking the usual funny nonsense. It's familiar, and in fact it feels too familiar, if you ask me. This time the nonsense doesn't really want to ignite. The villains do have a few witty quips when they die, and Claptrap can score a few points here and there, but all of this is miles away from Tiny Tina and co. Not to mention the humor of the prequel, which I find even funny. The actual gameplay has also changed surprisingly little. And so you travel across alien planets, in pairs at most, in order to flatten masses of enemies and bag a similar number of weapons. After all, they are the stars of this show for many. After all, they not only get stronger, but also more varied in the course of the adventure. You'll find shotguns whose bullets get stuck in enemies, only to explode seconds later. There are assault rifles that spit fire like flamethrowers, as well as those that you don't have to reload, or those that you throw away to reload, whereupon they continue firing as automatic guns before exploding at an enemy. Of course, the hero's abilities also play an important role, as they are given additional features through versatile specializations. You can choose which of the three abilities should be active, and one of them, Zane, even activates two if he forgoes using grenades. He then sets up a shield and activates a drone that automatically attacks enemies, or perhaps uses the latter in combination with a hologram that attracts enemies' attention. On the other hand, it's a pity that the developed alter ego is led around in a rather old-fashioned world. Although there are some very entertaining side quests, I miss interesting opportunities like dynamic events or challenging arena battles. There's no trace of a lively world like in other games of the genre. To answer the initial question, yes, Borderlands 3 is an impossible port. A lot of cutbacks were made to guarantee a good frame rate, but this effort was worth it. The developers didn't just lower the resolution and use inferior textures, but went to the trouble of changing whole elements of the world so they probably require less power. This means that rocks, for example, can look completely different and have a different structure than on other consoles. The same applies to the ground, which has different color gradients and looks less detailed. This allows the game to run at an unlocked frame rate, which averages 45 FPS most of the time, although there can still be some frame drops. Collective loot hunting has become a defining feature of many shooters over the past decade, and indeed, trying out the new inventive weapons is motivating in the fourth Borderlands as well. It feels great to assemble equipment that perfectly suits your playstyle. In addition, there is character development, with which you create an individual alter ego via many strong abilities, a number of interesting boss fights and a still entertaining scenario, whose story and characters and gags, however, more mimic the predecessors instead of igniting themselves. For these reasons, I rate Borderlands 3 for the Nintendo Switch an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. If you liked it, we would be very happy about a like and a subscription, or if you're interested in getting early access to our future reviews, feel free to visit our Patreon page.
For the